Welcome to the week 4 go-to session, right? This is the final session of 4 we've been having this month. Yay! Yes, that means we are in the final stretch, final week. Let me give some updates. I'm pretty much done with grading essay drafts. I have probably a handful still to grade. I apologize for taking so long. We instructors aim for a 72-hour turnaround time. That's not including weekends. But because I'm teaching an additional class, I actually get 4 full days to grade things. But even with that extra day, I should have had things graded by today at 5 p.m., but I'm still trudging through. So I apologize for that. The good news is, everybody who handed in a draft, that is, should receive feedback by tonight. And that means everyone will have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to work on revision. And if you need time beyond that, just let me know. Some of you have probably noticed I'm pretty easygoing with turning a blind eye to people who need an extra day or two to hand things in. I haven't been taking off late points, so I've been pretty flexible with that. So if the 4 full days that you have for revision isn't enough, just let me know, okay? And if you need to hand things in on Monday or Tuesday of next week, even though in theory things are due this coming Sunday at midnight, just let me know. Here's a reminder too. We kind of covered this last week, but here's the rubric for the essay draft. And remember I said that it's kind of purposely graded easily because it's based on hitting your marks. Okay, so even if you got a 0 out of 7, you still get 30 points. I've had to be the mean instructor and tell a few people, even with high grades, that okay, but that doesn't mean that there still isn't work to do for revision. So nobody should just look at their grade and go, oh, great, I'm happy with that. I don't need to revise. Plus, there's actually a penalty for not revising. And let me go to the main list of activities, okay? So we can see where I'm at, see where we're at. Let me X out of this. Okay, so here we are in week 4. There's a final journal response. Maybe we should take a close look at that. This is really pretty simple. You have to essentially summarize my feedback and the feedback you receive from your peers during peer review. Okay, right? So you have 2 things to respond to. Reading your peer feedback, your instructor feedback. What are the 3 changes you plan to make to improve your essay? How will these changes make your essay stronger? And considering this week's lecture and readings, what strategies will you use to revise your essay? So that's another kind of nice point about those of you who have been attending or watching the lectures every week, that you'll be able to reference the specific lecture. It's a pretty easy journal activity, but I didn't get massive turn-in rates for the essay draft, so I'm hoping I still get some essays handed in. It's sort of hard to summarize your instructor's feedback if you didn't hand in an essay draft. Ditto for peer review. I am trying to come up with a workaround for the many people who did not complete peer review, giving them an opportunity to complete it for reduced credit. I have to get through the bulk of the grading first before I can set that up. But obviously, if you didn't get the peer feedback, even if you, let's say I give you the workaround, still you will not have gotten direct feedback from a classmate. So my advice is do the best you can with this journal assignment. If you can only summarize my feedback, do so. You might pay special attention to here. The week's lectures and readings show off that you watched the lecture and did the readings. That could help maybe make up for the inability to summarize peer feedback. Okay. The journal is pretty simple. Otherwise, the rest of the week is completely open for the most part. There's a final achieve module, but you guys are so used to those. You know how to bang those out. And this is intentional. Okay. Last week was heavy. One of the reasons, not making excuses, it's not an excuse, but it is an explanation for why it's taken me longer than normal to get these essay drafts. It's because, if last week was rough for you, it's rough for me as well. You handed in a research outline, right? Not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. And I needed to grade those in 3 to 4 days and get them turned back to you. And then you immediately handed in an essay draft, and I needed to get cracking on those. And then you all said, peer review, I need to get start grading those as well. I won't get to those until tomorrow. It's kind of a breakneck pace in week 3, but week 4 is much lighter. A journal activity, which isn't very difficult because you're mostly summarizing feedback. A final achieve module. Some people have already done this. Some people banged out all 3 achieve modules the first week of class. And most of your attention is going to be spent here. Okay, revision. I don't need to say too much about this. You're getting feedback on your essay draft, and then you have until Sunday or longer if you need a little bit more time to, revise your essay. And revision means you are top to bottom revision, okay? So some of you maybe have essay drafts that are in strong shape, pretty strong shape. Um, Maybe your focus will be mostly on APA and grammar and cleaning things up, or maybe finding stronger research. But for a lot of people, it's going to be a mixture of those three things. So addressing content, addressing APA. I'm seeing lots of APA issues. The week 3 lecture, remember, I devoted the final 30 minutes to a walkthrough of APA. Um, so yeah, all aspects. Okay. So if there's still no thesis, there should be a thesis at this stage. Um, Content. So if paragraphs weren't very rich, weren't very well developed, there might be some attention need to be paid there, as well as the smaller stuff. Okay. It might be useful to think about things in kind of two big realms. Global feedback. Okay, so this is like big picture stuff. This stuff is relates to thesis, content, organization, and then local feedback. This is kind of the small picture stuff. Grammar, mechanics, proofreading. APA probably falls into that category. Okay, so a revision is top to bottom. You're handing in your strongest possible work. Okay, you're submitting your essay finally at the end of the month, and kind of saying, "This is what I stand behind. This is my strongest possible ad analysis essay." Um, and again, I think I'm giving everybody pretty detailed feedback on what they need to work on. Remember, you do have a sample essay. You had this. You have my essay. Okay, I gave everybody the sample Jeep essay that I wrote that we looked at. Remember, we looked at a Jeep ad in week 1. You also had a McDonald's ad based on a McDonald's print ad, that Wi-Fi ad with the French fries. Okay, I think it was included in the week 2 journal activity, the thumbnail outline activity. But for the essay draft, there was a sample McDonald's essay, and here you have a sample revised version of the essay. So choose an essay that you like. I've given everybody the Jeep essay, but if you want to study this McDonald's essay instead, take a look at it. And here, one of our fellow Full Sail instructors has actually noted the changes that have been made. Okay. So you can study this one to see the changes that have been made. It looks like here's an entire section that's been either removed or changed. But if the little notes and stuff kind of bother you, the Jeep essay is a clean document. Okay. So every student, I think, got this. Okay. The thesis is highlighted. The 3 analysis points in the thesis are highlighted, and you get to see how these turn into specific body paragraphs. And actually, let me kind of just mention something real quickly. How often will you ever have to write an ad analysis paper? Never, ever. This will probably be the only one you write in your life. I have a confession to make. I don't care that much about ad analysis. I really don't. But that's not the point of this class. The ad analysis is not what's important. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do think that there's value in critical thinking. I think there is something useful about being able to look at something, analyze it, think about it. I have a background in film. I've taught introduction to film, so it's impossible for me to watch a film or a television show or a television commercial without noticing lots of stuff. Everything from like camera work to angles to how it's cut. It's kind of a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, it's nice to be able to critically examine something. On the other hand, it's almost impossible to turn your brain off and not notice things. I mean, I can even watch a mindless kind of action movie and I still notice things. That's just how it kind of works. I think there's value in being able to critically analyze something. But that's sort of like a secondary goal. The bigger goal here is to make sure that everyone can write an organized, thesis-driven essay, okay? Because when you look at most types of writing, formal writing, kind of stuff you'd have to write for class, the kind of stuff that maybe you see, for example, from professionals online, whether it's a professional review or a professional feature article, most writing has some sort of beginning, Okay, there's like an introduction. There's a setup paragraph. Writers just don't dive right into the middle of things and start talking. So there's some sort of establishing. Okay, what we would call an introduction paragraph for this essay. There's some sort of conclusion or closing, an ending, and in between there are separate paragraphs that focus on one topic at a time. And as long as I can get students to remember these basics, that just about all formal or semi-formal writing has some sort of opening, some sort of closing, and then paragraphs in between that focus on one idea at a time, you should be good. Okay? This should help you in just about any situation. And that's what I want the takeaway to be. Ad analysis is just sort of the excuse to go through these writing principles. It's really to teach you these basics. Because really, I wish if I were more ambitious, I would have had examples at the ready. But yeah, we could go online, find a professional video game review or a music article and point to how it has an introduction. Now, sometimes professional writing introduction might be more than one paragraph. Sometimes its concluding thoughts might be more than one paragraph, right? 5-paragraph essays are not some sort of rigid form that truly exists much in the real world. But again, this general pattern of some sort of opening, some sort of closing, and then the meat, the middle, where you discuss or look at issues one topic at a time, each in its own paragraph, that is standard. Okay? And that's what I want to make sure that every student can do. I know students don't believe this, but I think I'm one of the easiest graders in the department. I really am. For example, I don't expect perfection. I really grade mostly on how well are students fitting this or hitting these marks, right? Is there an introduction? Is there a thesis? Are there body paragraphs that examine one point at a time? Is there a conclusion? And then, yeah, there are other things like APA format, which is specific to Full Sail. All Full Sail classes use APA format, so you sort of have to know it. APA does not disappear just because English class is over. So if you need to hang on or bookmark that video that I gave everybody for last week's lecture, you might want to save it in case you need a refresher on a walkthrough of APA for future classes. But yeah, it's mostly the big picture stuff I want to make sure people understand. As long as people prove that, I'm more than happy to stamp high grades on people's work and pass them on through. Okay? So, yeah, you'll never have to write ad analysis in your life. Now, where was I? Okay, so the revision is due Sunday. You have a little thing here about people who are using previous work. Most of you have chosen a new ad, so this probably won't apply to you. But note that people who have chosen a brand new ad, one of the ads from my approved list, your revision should have 30% new content to receive full credit. The one exception here is for those people whose drafts are already in very, very strong shape. No, you do not have to rewrite a third of your paper. Okay, don't worry about that. But in general, yes, I will be looking to see, has revision been tackled at all? And there is a penalty for not revising at all. For example, if you just upload the same paper again, there is 20 points taken off. And then I can gauge based on if there are only small changes, but bigger changes were needed, I can take 10 points off. I can take 5 points off. I hate to take points off for lack of revision, but I will if it's really pretty much identical to your draft version. Everybody has something to focus on, even the people who handed in pretty strong drafts. Usually there were issues related to, at the very least, grammar and APA that need to be fixed. Okay, and you have the rubric that you can study here on your own time, how I grade. Okay, finally, oops, here, let me go back into this. You have a portfolio, a reflection essay. So few students complete this that I honestly don't take points off if you don't do it. I'll encourage you that if you want to do this, I'll give you some sort of bonus points. I can't give too many, but maybe I'll add 5 points to your revision grade or something. If you don't need any bonus points, some people really like. Some people are so clearly in the A range that it doesn't matter what grade they get on the revision. They're probably still going to earn an A in the class. As for other people, they're still going to earn a B no matter what they do. So if completing this for maybe a little bit of extra credit doesn't help you, just, I would say, don't do it. I'm supposed to ask all of you to do this, but again, so few students do it. Um, Plus, guess what? We're saying goodbye to ad analysis for almost 2 years. So we're doing a completely new curriculum next month. So yeah, if people don't do the portfolio, and plus people are busy, right? I want people to do this journal, do the final achieve module, and then put energy here into revision. So if the portfolio, the reflection essay, which is really simple, it just asks you to answer a series of questions. These guys here. Okay, so it's not difficult to complete. So yeah, complete it if you can. If you do, I'll find some bonus points to give you. But if life is too hectic and you really need to concentrate on your revision, that's fine as well. Okay, so really, I don't have that much more to go over. I promised last week that this would be kept like under 30 minutes because it's all wrap up stuff. I do want to thank those people who have been here pretty much every week. I think Patricia has been here every single week. Dave's been here a couple times. Um, yeah, Patricia, the 30%, that's sort of an awkward rule. And I have instructors. I mean, I'm not going to call out my fellow colleagues who I love. I really do. But some really do insist on it. Like, even if you had a perfect essay, they still want you to revise like a third of your paper. Why would you do that? If it's already pretty awesome in its current format? Like, Patricia, you did pretty well on your draft. I think I quibbled over one piece of research. Um, okay, and I think there was some sentence level stuff that I pointed out too. So yeah, you don't have to rewrite your paper, Patricia. Yeah, the music thing, which I hope I made sense of my feedback. Um, but yeah, so some people's revision task is going to be lighter than others, but I'd say most people are going to have multiple things to focus on. Okay, I mean, Dave, I graded your paper as well. So people may not even have noticed because I've been grading all afternoon. But anyway, let's open things up to, does anybody have questions, comments, or anything? Um, Look for peer review grades tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, I'm still, it's the never ending grading. Every day there's more to grade. Okay, so if you're comfortable with what we've gone over, you are free to go enjoy the rest of your night. I thank you so much for attending. And I'll hang out for a little bit if people do have any questions. But if not, thank you for a good month. I won't say goodbye because I still might hear from you via message or whatever. I'm still your instructor for several more days, a good week or so. Okay. So I'm going to stop the recording